It is time for a spectacular light show. That's right. I told you we'd be back before these shockingly shocking, amazing ladies would leave us from the boom beach. In today's video, we are back on the main account because that's where I like making the videos the most. Although I might do a video before they leave on the alt account to show that they can still be useful. But this video today is all about the lasers. And honestly, as I'm doing this post editing, I just realized I probably should have thrown Cryoneers in there for all of the beams. So maybe that's a video sometime this weekend as well. But for this video, we are going with the Laser Rangers and the Shockaneers, doing a little 4-4 action, taking on Imitation Game. Now, mind you, Imitation Game is probably one of the easiest Cycle of Evil events of the week, but it's fun nonetheless, and it gives us time to do some shenanigans, so to say. So today's video is exactly that, shenanigans, having some fun with these ladies, both on Imitation Game and some player bases, kind of showing off the power of the beams, with the shocks from the Shockaneers basically being infinite, slightly tanky, being able to tank for the Laser Rangers, and then the Laser Rangers' ridiculous DPS as well as collateral damage. This is just a great all-around attack. You can choose any hero. Today we decided not to do any heroes for this video just to show how strong this combination is, but you can decide to go with Kavan. I think is a nice one with the Rifleman Wave to get in front of the Shockaneers and Laser Rangers. I'm sure Bullet would do okay. Just about any hero. Maybe even Brick if you want to do some smoke hits perhaps. So, but today's video we had Kavan to use if we needed him, but we are not going to need him for Imitation Game, not one single bit. Honestly, I don't even know if we need heroes at all to be attacking any bases with these ladies of power, but here we are going to try it out anyway. As you guys know, there's only one time for us to ever say and talk about our warships. That's right, we are doing pretty much the same as last video, still in the 19 to 20 range. Gonna do probably one last push sometime this weekend to see if I can at least get one account, if not both, to diamond. I've been just kind of stacking up keys. I could probably get close to the end of the tech tree with the amount of keys I have at this point, but I will let you guys know. I wanted to do a stream for it, but stuff got busy, so we'll definitely try to stream a couple more times next season. We're for sure going to try to take off a little bit more. I might see if I can talk to some of the, goats of the warships game and see if I can look into their big brain minds to try to figure out what the strats are for next season. So more to follow on that, of course. Also, I know it's probably been a few days since the Clash Clan for any of my Clashers. Mind you, they will be back tomorrow. I'll be doing a video on that. Getting pretty high up there. Don't want to spend too much time talking about it, but like I said, I'm having a lot of fun with that game, and we will continue to put content of that sort on the channel because it is getting great support. So huge shout out to you all. But it is Boom Beach. That's what we're focusing on for all of my boomers out there, because we love our Boom Beach. So far so good. 3 stages down, going on to our 4th one. Haven't even needed to deploy full troops yet. Kind of just doing some onesies and twosies of boats, throwing out some critters to maybe clear out some mines. But as you can see, the Shockaneers have decent amount of health to at least be able to take 1 or 2 of those RLs, so not nearly as problematic as it could be. And there it is, our shameless shout out. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those bell notifications. We're getting so much closer to 500 subscribers. Like I said, huge giveaway for that when we hit 500. And it's time for us to start building up this community, because that's what it's all about for me. I'm trying to make the undead and underworld known to the YouTube and gaming community, as well as all of us wonderful mobile gamers who love old Supercell games that have been out for like, I don't know, 10 years or so. Excuse me. That reminds me, Boom Beach is about to turn 10 this year, so hopefully they do something amazing for it. We're definitely going to be celebrating that with them. Still a couple months out, I think in March, but I will definitely be around to have that celebration with them. Hopefully we get some huge, crazy update, but I don't know. Just hoping and praying, I suppose. Stage 5 about to go down. Like I said, no real problems so far. We've probably lost 1 or 2 Shockaneers here and there, maybe a Laser Ranger or 2. But for the most part, this is just a very solid attack strategy with this prototype troop because it's so... Why did I say prototype troop? Proto troop. Just because they have that slight tankiness as well as that infinite shock capability. Much like the mechs, as long as they can get those hits in there and don't get shocked to oblivion by like multiple shock launchers and shock blasters and all that stuff, they do exactly the job they're supposed to do. And so far they have been doing a great job with it, keeping most of our Laser Rangers alive. Mind you, we are doing all of these hits in this video unboosted, so I'm trying to save us some power powder, but also just show off that this combination can be strong. Like I said, I want to do it on probably the alt account as well, just to kind of show off those med level and maybe lower level plays, showing that they can still be used to great effect regardless if you are not a maxed headquarters or not. So I have to make sure I get my terminology right between games because not everything is called the same, or really anything at all between Clash of Clans and Boom Beach. Similar in some feelings, but definitely a lot of different terminologies. The headquarters here is clearly called a town hall in Clash of Clans for any of those boomers out there. Or maybe you're a Clasher and didn't know that information, so. Coming into stage 7, no problems thus far. 6 for 6. Can we make it 7 for 7? Not even needing an additional attack. Mind you, we didn't take out any of these rocket launchers. We were going to shock them just because it is a little bit... It becomes a lot of damage if all of them start shooting at the same time. So we want to make sure we at least get one shock down there. Once the Shockaneers lock on, then we don't have to worry about that, and we can kind of move our shocks back if need be. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Missing on that one shock launcher, but a Shockaneer just taps it perfectly. And here we go, another shock launcher being tapped by another Shockaneer. So, and it's just showing, you don't need your shocks, you don't need a lot of GBE for really anything for these attacks. I would say if you wanted to take out like one prototype defense or 2 prototype defenses, that's where you use your GBE, as well as maybe dropping some med kits occasionally if you need them, or critters to clear out some of those mines. But as far as shocking stuff, unless it's really, really far back RLs that are maybe tagging your troops too early, you can really just kind of let them go wild and they will get the job done. So if you really wanted to make this an effective method, you could definitely put a tanking troop in front of them, maybe a mech or a Scorcher or heavies, if you just wanted to maybe save those Shockaneers a little bit longer, as well as Cryoneers to decrease some of those fire rates of defenses before they get shocked, of course. And there it was, 7 stages down. Here we are jumping into player bases now, because we got to show off this strat on the player bases as well. It makes sense to do so. Like I said, we tried our hardest to not use Kavan in this video, but then I realized I accidentally used him a couple times, but there are definitely some player hits and other hits that are done without Kavan. As you saw, we also did all of Imitation Game without Kavan, so he's not really needed. Honestly, I think you could really do this strat with no heroes as long as you just use your GBE correctly as far as healing. Of course, your Laser Rangers, they're the most important thing. As long as you have a couple Shockaneers left, as long as you have a couple Shockaneers and a mass majority of your Laser Rangers, you're going to be able to finish the hits. So the second you lose all that DPS, your Shockaneers, as you guys have saw in my previous video, and I'm sure in other people's videos, Shockaneers do not do a lot of damage at all. So they definitely need some type of DPS behind them, whether that's Zukas or Laser Rangers or Bombardiers. Or maybe even, if you're sick, tanks. And you are sick and you choose tanks. But that's besides the point, of course. Just kind of tearing through this base. We did do a little bit of a smoke strat, and I think it's definitely plausible to do. And like I said, I think if you wanted to use a hero for smoke strat, you could definitely take Sergeant Brick to be able to just amp up all that damage and just completely collapse a whole player's base, especially when they have such huge flaws like that back, like the back of that base being so defenseless, so to say. We're going to jump into a few of our resources bases. As you guys can see, we have not attacked on this account in probably a day or two, just because we've just been so busy with so many other things, dealing with our alt accounts and all that stuff, and then other games. So kind of ignored our max account because the only thing that we're really upgrading now at this point is defenses and our last few troops inside of the armory. Also a huge shout out to that because we definitely have grenadiers, medics, and bombardiers. I think is the last max troops we have to do, so we will eventually get those in, but we needed to make sure we clear out our resource bases because we want those back, and we don't like the dirty snakes that don't give them back to us. As you can see, we do have onesies and twosies of the OGs, like Mr. Slayer, who, ever since they made the change to the hourly chest, this man has done exactly what you should be doing with other players, and that is switching the bases over every hour or so, or whenever you decide to help collect those chests more often. Like I said, the chest system for the OGs will remember used to be a 24-hour. If you're a new player, you are now on the 1-hour chest system as well as everybody else. So huge shout out to that. I think that was one of the biggest quality of life changes they could have made. I definitely have a lot of fun with it. If you're an upcoming account, it's super helpful for you to kind of do those base exchanges, and one of the best ways to do it is through resource bases. That's way you don't climb medals, because resource bases always lose one and gain one. So if that doesn't make any sense to you, feel free to ask about it in the comments and I will further explain that whole system to you. But besides that, huge shout out to Mr. Slayer for playing the game, and no shout out to these noobs who absolutely refused to put the headquarters on the beach. I should probably test it out because some of these players that I've seen today, I think, were newer players, or maybe players that haven't attacked my base previously. So maybe I'll let them grab it again and then try to put it on the beach and see if they'll play ball, because like I said, I have no problems switching the base back and forth as long as you just put the headquarters on the beach so I don't have to worry about it and I can be on my merry way. So if you're one of the wonderful people that are on my map, feel free to swap bases with me, because that's what it's all about. Free loot for everybody. We win together, we win together. Exactly. Kind of just looking through bases. I don't think we're going to do a full map clear by any means. We just want to make sure that we get an upgrade for one of our upgrades to start going. I think we decided on the critter launcher today. We'll see. And of course we have to switch out those low loot player bases, because some of y'all do not carry enough loot for me to even constitute an attack. So I know some people, if you're trophy climbing and stuff like that, I'm sorry, not trophy, VP climbing. If you're VP climbing, you don't really care what the loot is. You will just attack every base on your archipelago to push yourself forward so you can get on the leaderboards or whatever the case is. Someday, don't know when, but someday we'll probably do a push, see how high we can get as a fully offensive account. We won't drop any ice stashes for the push. We're just going to strictly go full offense. I know it's possible, but very, very hard, especially considering you have to kind of play Boom Beach all day, every like 16 minutes to see if a base spawn and then attack that, and then get attacked, 3 times in that same 20 minutes or something like that. So very, very grindy. Not something I want to do at this moment, but maybe someday we'll do a little bit of a VP climb. But if you're not VP climbing, I totally lost my train of thought, so it is all good. Something about VP climbing, but I'm just watching this hit as I'm talking to you all, so trying to figure it all out, of course. And once again, another base that kind of just left our back a little bit defenseless. Slightly better than some of the other bases that we've attacked today, but still too easy lemon squeezy to finish that base off. They did have a prototype as well that we managed to destroy. I think there was one other base during this video that had 2 prototypes, and we just decided to barrage those out so we didn't have to worry about them, and we could continue with our attack. It might even have been that base, but honestly, who remembers at this point? Getting close to that critter launcher upgrade, so we'll attack 1 or 2 more bases to get it in there. So is this the base? No, it's not. It's a nice little... Oh, we decided to do something weird. Just to kind of show off you didn't need to smoke your troops on these player bases, we decided to do more so a full clear, kind of from the side of the base, as we'll show here. But just showing that you can kind of position these troops in the right spot and you should be okay to kind of just run through the base. Like I said, you just have to cycle some of your GBE abilities. That way you can distract those defenses for 1 or 2 seconds while they get into the proper places. So, but yeah, having a lot of fun with them. Like I said, I'm not going super crazy on any types of pushes, kind of doing my cycle of evil events, player attacks every now and again, but definitely having a lot more fun with this troop. It's upsetting that every time they do a poll between this and the stunner, which I believe is the other troop that they like to vote on or poll with these troops, there's really no reason you should ever be choosing stunner over these amazing, shockingly satisfying ladies who just do so much more. They do slightly more damage. They shock multiple buildings, not just one, and their shocks are basically infinite. So for that one little 1.5 second stun that the stunners do with literally negligible damage, it really doesn't make any sense not to choose these ladies over. Even if you decide not to use them with Laser Rangers, any other DPS troop, they would just make so much better of a support troop in my opinion. So something to keep in mind for the future for you guys. I think later this month we actually have another prototype troop coming out, and that is the Lasertron, if I'm not mistaken. So once that comes out, we're definitely be making videos on that, because this will be my first time ever using Lasertrons 2 in a boat, because the last time I got to use them, which was I think February of last year, I only had 1 per boat because my account was still new, and that's when I started playing the game. So that's neither here nor there, I suppose. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, we'll probably do one more video this week to kind of show it on the alts, but you guys know how it goes, as usual. And there's the last upgrade. I am the resident dweller of the underworld, the casual player's player, the David to max player's Goliath. See y'all next time. Peace.